Well, hello, good afternoon, or whatever time of day it is, everybody. Welcome to Pete's Plastic Playground. Been about 4 weeks actually since you heard from me, so it's high time I gave you an update on life out here in my little man cave. It's nice at the moment. It's daylight, and I've got the window open to let in some natural light while I'm working, and it's of course we're in the middle of this this pandemic of COVID-19, which is restricting our daily routines to a large extent. For me personally, I've been furloughed from work, so the whole routine is shot to pieces, and I'm home with my family, which is nice. And we're a very close, loving family, as my wife and our 2 boys. And we all get along very, very well, luckily, and so we're very fortunate in that respect. We've got space around the house and in the garden, and outside as well. Just yesterday, the boys and I went on a 4-mile walk. We didn't set out to do that, but that's how it ended up. So, having said that, we hadn't been out for perhaps a little while before then. So, but we've had our exercise, and we're sticking to the rules, and hopefully it won't be too long before we can all get back to normal and see our extended families properly again as well. But in the meantime, I feel inclined to stay indoors and away from the models, especially helping the youngster with his schoolwork that he's doing as well, and you know, he likes us all to be together and in the house. But I've had some time out here as well, and made some progress with some models that I spoke to you about in my last video. I think I showed you that I had pulled from my stash this Airfix gift set, the Battle of Britain Ready for Battle. I stumbled a bit over how long it had been in the stash, but of course, given that it was a 2000 anniversary, so it'd be 70th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, sorry, 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain edition. I've had it, I think I bought it in 2016, so it's been with me for 4 years now. But as you can see, the price was a giveaway down at Howley's Toy Master in Weymouth for 15 quid. I mean, it's exceptional value. So so really today I wanted to give you an update on progress. You can see it here on the bench. I'll give you a closer look in a minute. I'm not even going to bother trying to turn the camera around today. I know a lot of you enjoy it when I try and turn the camera around, but I'm not even going to go there. I shall pause, move the camera, and then restart the video. But I started off with the Albion 3-point refueler. This is all in 1/48 scale. Never been one for building vehicles before, but I've done a few. But this one I thoroughly, excuse me, say it, don't spray it, I thoroughly enjoyed. It's a very, very well designed kit, and it went together beautifully. It was easy to paint, an easy sort of two-tone, an olive and dark green colour scheme and so on. But my favourite bit, as you'll see in a minute, is the pump assembly and the distribution manifold and gauges. I'm actually a plumber by trade. I prefer to think of myself as a pipologist, but plumber it is. And I just imagined all this kind of 2-inch, I guess it would be, screwed iron pipe work in the back of this truck with the pump assembly and the filters and so on. And so that bit I really enjoyed, and I'll give you a close-up of that in a minute. So the Albion truck went together really well, and I've elected to do it with one boom, one refueling boom off at an angle, so that it's actually, I think in my mind's eye, it's just refueled this Hurricane. And then I've got this little guy here who's climbing up the side of the tanker to get hold of this boom here and move it over, because there's going to be another Hurricane here. So I've got another Hurricane to build. And then I have to say, the quality of these figures to assemble is an absolute joy. They come, you have to fix the arms and the legs and so on. And in 1/48 scale, even a you know, kind of clumsy oaf like me, I find it really quite how do we use the word easy, but it's quite manageable to paint them to a reasonable standard, I find. I've had some good sort of guidance over the years from my mate who's a dab hand at painting small figures, and he's given me some good hints and tips. But again, I'll try and give you a close-up on the figures and you can judge for yourself. So the layout, I've done this diorama on a base, which is actually a picture frame, and I've done no more than just stick this glass, grass matting straight on top of the glass. I know I just smudged PVA glue all over it, and just put it down like wallpaper and flattened it down. There are some circle marks because I put some coffee mugs on it to weigh it down, but I'll get rid of those in due course with just flattening out the glass and applying some more scatter material in due course. But it's nice because the glue has given it a sort of undulating surface, because the earth is never flat, is it? Well, some believe it is, of course, but but you know what I mean. There's always some sort of undulation in the ground, and this particular part of this airfield I'm just imagining is relatively flat and so on, but with some undulations. I'm tempted to pick it up and hold it nearer the camera right now, but I'm not going to do that because it'll all fall over. So I've positioned the figures. I've got one lad kneeling down, loading a ribbon of ammunition into this Hurricane. Another airman here holding another ribbon, presumably to pass to him. I don't know. You know how it would be, or ready to go into the other side of the machine guns. I think I'm going to say it's just been refueled, and they're just packing this hose away on this side, and the scenario is going to be, there's going to be one pilot running towards this aircraft because he wants to he needs to get away and go up and rejoin the battle. And then this Hurricane that's going here, I'm going to imagine I'm going to set it with the pilot stepping out of the aircraft, and he's just landed. So it's, this one's more or less ready to go, and this one's just coming in to be rearmed and refueled. So this one I shall build with the access covers to the machine guns in the closed position. Although it's the first time I've ever done a model with the machine gun ports open. I enjoyed doing it, but on this one they'll be closed because it was just returned from battle. So I've still got to do the two pilot figures that came with it. I'm kind of halfway through at the moment. I've done their the basic colours to their tunics and their jackets and so on, or trousers and jackets and their boots. And I've got to put in the detail of the Mae Wests and all the straps and so on for the parachutes, etc. And then it's a case of then I've got to build the selection of trolleys, and sort of there's a I don't know what this trolley is, but various pieces of equipment, fire extinguishers maybe in these trolleys, as well as some chocks for the wheels of the aircraft, and there's also a little dog. Now, I can't bring myself not to do something silly with a dog. So when I do the final reveal, I'll see who spots the dog. Okay. I'll leave that as a clue. So anyway, the dog will become a little feature on the diorama. So why don't I take the camera out of the holder now and let you have a good old close-up look at this. Okay, so I'm just going to pause. Right, here we go then. So I'll give you a little close-up view of the diorama so far. And first of all, I'll show you my favourite bit that I really enjoyed doing. The gauges and the manifold in there, and the pump assembly and so on. And this lad, in my mind, is just sort of going to be set up, just turning one of the valves to perhaps close the one that's finished refueling. So, and then this guy, I'm not sure where he's going to go, because he's actually holding a filler nozzle in his hand, so I don't know how he's quite going to fit in. And then there's this chap who's climbing up the ladder of the truck to reach the boom that's going to fill up the refuel the aircraft, that's going to occupy that space there on the diorama. The Hurricane, I thought it was a fantastic build. It really was great. I mean, building up all of that framing of the cockpit, and then the spar for the wings, I thought it was most enjoyable kit to build. I really got something out of building that model, and the whole kit's been fantastic. Only let down on this occasion, I'm afraid, by the decals that are quite brittle, quite stiff. I mean, normally using the materials that I have, I can get them to sort of sink over any undulations on the aircraft, but they are just awful, just dreadful. I mean, look at that there, just horrendous. So there's going to be some work done on those before I call it done. I haven't done any varnish or weathering at all on this Hurricane yet. It's just as I built it so far, just to position it on the diorama for you to see. But I used what did I use? I used a Revel green and I used a Vallejo brown, and I thought they were quite good. Good colour choices. They've settled well onto the model, in my opinion. I'm pretty happy. So I'll give you a little look round and you can see the prop. Hopefully that's all staying in focus for you. So there it is so far. That's the early stages. It's the first actual mock-up setup of my little diorama, and I'll just give you a view from above. Okay, there it is. That's how it's going to look so far. You can probably see the circles where the coffee mugs were, but that'll all flatten out anyway in due course, so I'm not too worried about that. But I think once it's got the second aircraft on, and as I say, with one pilot leaving the aircraft and one pilot running towards, I think it should look pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing it all done. So right, I'm going to turn you around again. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that little look at the model so far. So lots to do, lots of touching up. It's only posed there for the purposes of the video, so the layout might be entirely different. I'll when it's finished, I'll play with it and change it accordingly. So so there we are. So I got the box out just to remind you of what the basis of it is. There was a happy event recently, just over a week ago. I turned a year older. And I'm sure you guys know that us modelers are pretty easy to buy for, aren't we? There's always something that when somebody says, "What would you like for your birthday?" I've always got a list in my mind. So this is the second Hurricane. It's as I said to you earlier on, it's a lovely model to build, and I'm looking forward to building this one, which I shall do this week. There are two versions. I'll put the old glasses back on and I can read out what it is. I'm just going to move that up there for a minute and then we can have a look in the box of this. Yeah, two versions. It's Hawker Hurricane Mark 1. One is flown by a Polish pilot, number 303 Squadron from Norfolk, at the height of the Battle of Britain in September 1940. The one I'm going for is flown by Flight Lieutenant Ian Widge Gleed of number 87 Squadron RAF Exeter Devon, again from England, August 1940. So that's the option I'm going to go for. Do you know what? I don't know which squadron this is from. I haven't had a look, but you know, it just occurs to me that during the Battle of Britain, if you needed to land at an airfield for fuels and armament in England, you jolly well landed there, whether you were part of the squadron or not. So that's the basis on which I'm rationalising this diorama. There's no specific prototypical airfield that I've got in mind, just an airfield in the south of England during the Battle of Britain. Again, when I built this first Hurricane from the box set, I just found it exquisitely well set out. I mean, everything fitted together. I hate to use the phrase, but it went together like a jigsaw puzzle. And the reason I hesitate to use it, I don't know if I've said this before, but my wife was ribbing me once, and she said, "Well, these aeroplanes you build are nothing more than glorified jigsaw puzzles, are they?" So anyway, when she gained consciousness, we discussed it further, and I said that there's a lot more to it than you imagine, but this really does go together very, very nicely. And I have to say, when I had this sub-assembly finished, you can see it there because of the lights, that sub-assembly, when that was all done, I looked at it, I thought that was really rewarding to build that. So so there we are, that's that, and we move on. And very, very soon after you've built the cockpit assembly and those steel spars, that you start to put the fuselage together, and it very, very quickly comes together to be a superb kit. I've already knocked the aerial from this Hurricane, so I've got to super glue that back on and put some aerial wire on. And I've also not put the pie tot under the wing yet, so I've got that little job to do. But there we are. That's how well the model's coming on. It's just a fantastic build. It really is. These instructions are so well set out, and I'll give you a close-up look at the plastic. I'm going to open it now because it really is an imminent build. So I'll open up the goodie bag. Here it comes. It's all coming out slowly. Nice, nice, good quality plastic again from Airfix. I just like the, it's all set out on the runners nicely, and the plastic is nice and what can I call it? It's nice and sturdy. Let's put it that way. It's not sort of thin, waxy stuff. It's all very, very, very nicely moulded, and yeah, I'm very taken with the. I don't think this will be the last Hurricane that I build. Frankly, I've got a Sea Hurricane in 148 in the stash that I'll have a go at. Look at the way the fuselage is moulded with the ribs of the material on the fuselage there clearly visible. It's really very, very nice indeed. Sides of the cockpit aren't all that detailed, but if you wanted to go to yes, so all in all, I rate this kit very, very highly indeed, and I'm chuffed to bits of it. You know what, it's when you think of Battle of Britain, it's always tempting to hit the old Spitfires, but I just thought it'd be nice. I love the Hurricane. I think it's a tank of an aeroplane, and so I'm glad I've made the choice to go with Hurricanes on this build. So A1 kit from Airfix, really, really enjoying it, and so that's what I'm going to be doing this week when I'm out here, daytimes, evenings, whenever I get the chance to get on and do a bit more work. It's nice to have a project to get your teeth into, actually, when when there's an objective at the end of it to get this dio. Quite where it'll live, I don't know, but might make a nice gift for somebody, or it might you never know, it might even end up on the old sideboard. Again, going back to the recent happy event, my lad bought me this. Excuse me. Clearly old throat. It's not a new cough, and it's not nothing to worry about. It's just a tickle in the throat. So he bought me this bomber resupply set because I said to him that how much I was enjoying that Albion tanker. So this set is full of 172 vehicles for the airfield. There's a little Tilly truck and a Bowser. A Bedford MWC, which there's one in that 148 set which I've yet to build, so that will feature in the dio. There's another Bedford truck there with a trestle tower for working on the engines of the aircraft. Some ordnance and some bomb trolleys and a little David Brown tractor tug. Huge great 8,000-pound bomb, a couple of those, and a bomb trolley, a motorbike, and a bicycle and a step ladder. Who'd have thought that? So so that's going to be a nice little set, and perhaps one day what I might do is use one of my completed bombers, either perhaps a Sterling or I've got a couple of Lancs that are completed. I might make up a little scene with this. So I was chuffed to bits with this, and then very, very fortunately, actually, I'll just show you this thing as well. I got this new light for above the workbench. Now it's I'm going to just gently move the camera around and show you what's what in here. It clamps onto a surface, and in my case, it's I don't know if you can see that. Look, it's clamped on there onto the shelf, and it's got this flexible arm, so you can put it wherever you need it to be. But the thing I really like about it is this little touch control. Look, it's on maximum at the moment. I'll get my face in the picture there because after all, star of the show. But watch this, look, little touch button on the end. So that's off, and then you can have dim, slightly brighter, and top brightness. Isn't that brilliant? So I found that on Amazon for I had some lolly to spend. I was given the gift of a few quid, so I went on Amazon and found that for a reasonable price of just under 30 quid. So that solves a little lighting. You know, gives me a bit more specific, targeted lighting right over the workbench, which you know, when your eyes get a year older, they need all the help they get. So good. I think that's it for now, folks. And there are some people have kindly subscribed recently, and a couple of people have asked some questions, which I shall answer. When I sit and thread these videos together before I post them on the channel, I'll get on and answer some questions. One person's asked me to do a video about the stash, which well, I suppose I could do. I don't know if anybody would be really that interested. I mean, we've all got our own stashes of varying extent. Mine's sort of grows, and then I build a few, and then it grows again. But yeah, perhaps we'll have a detailed look at the stash one of these days. And another thing is, last year I built a diorama of a bridge laying tank, and I think I made a video of it once it was complete about this time last year. And I might just put that video on and then follow it up with a description of it and the reason I did it and what it's supposed to represent. But that was something nice that I did. But unfortunately, having sat out here now, it does need a bit of remedial work to it. The back scene's got a bit got a stain on it, and I was insulating the garage with some expanding foam. And a big dollop of expanding foam fell down onto the diorama, and I was bereft. But luckily I had the presence of mind to leave it until it set, and as it expanded it became crisp, and I just pulled it off in one lump, and it didn't touch anything. There was a tiny little speck of it on the front of one of the tanks, but the rest of it remained untouched, so I was pretty lucky in that respect. So yeah, so I might this evening I might bombard you with some with a quick video of that tank diorama as well, the bridge laying tank diorama, so you can have a look at that. So for now, that's it. Best wishes to you all, and I hope you are healthy and that you remain healthy, and I hope you agree with me that it's worth making these sacrifices at the moment so we protect everybody and protect all our healthcare workers and don't put them under strain. And I know it's awful for, you know, if you're self-employed or you run a business, it's a very anxious time, and let's, you know, fingers crossed we all come through it and come back stronger when we go back to work. So from Pete's Plastic Playground, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.